The classroom whispers focused on one girl, a phantom of beauty said to bewitch every boy who came near. Yet, the story was darker. They called her the Crush Reaper. Boys spoke of her mystique, of her captivating charm, but when they approached, when they dared to speak their hearts, the outcome was always the same. A hushed, devastating denial. Every single time, leaving them crushed, a silent graveyard of rejected confessions. And now the whispers took on a new, chilling name. The girls, observing the trail of broken hearts, christened her the seatmate killer. For it was the boys who shared her desk, those who had the easiest access to her quiet beauty, who were most ensnared, most destined for the pain of rejection. She sat there amidst the hushed gossip, a serene figure draped in the shadow of her unintended destruction. Naruto Yuki, the calm voice of reason, listened skeptically to his friend Keitaru's worried rant. So, he asked, unmoved by the dramatic tales. Keitaru, unable to shake the ominous feeling, pointed to the vacant seat beside him. "You changed seats yesterday, right?" he said, a forced laugh catching in his throat. "Look at the seat next to yours, that's Takatsuki Yui's seat." Suddenly, the casual conversation took on a more personal, unsettling tone. Keitaru leaned in, his tone now urgent. "She's the seatmate killer," he exclaimed, trying to elicit some reaction. Naruto just shrugged. "I mean, she probably won't even talk to me." Keitaru was thoroughly put off. "She has a tendency to talk to the boy who sits next to her," he insisted, his eyes wide with warning. But Naruto just teased, like an insect, just as a chipper, "Good morning," came from where Takatsuki Yui sat. Keitaru groaned, his fears seemingly validated by this unexpected greeting. The tension in the classroom was thick the next day as Takatsuki Yui arrived, a stark contrast to the nervous whispers around her. "There's new seats starting today," she announced, her voice bright and energetic. The energy in the room shifted instantly, a wave of anxiety cresting as every boy considered the possibility of becoming her next victim. Keitaru reacted dramatically, his face twisted in alarm at the sight of her, while Naruto watched silently, his hand placed on the desk next to him. The seat next to him, the seat that Takatsuki Yui had just announced would be her new assignment. His fate was sealed, a direct shot to the heart. And then it happened. Keitaru, ever the dramatic, made his exit, leaving behind a stunned Naruto. Takatsuki Yui turned to him, a gentle smile forming on her lips. "Nice to meet you," she said, her voice sweet. Naruto found himself fixated on a small detail about her. Her teeth are pretty, he thought, a strange, almost poetic realization washing over him. He registered her assessment of him as a bit absent-minded compared to the others, a description that seemed to fit him perfectly. And that was the beginning, the start of a strange, almost inevitable journey with the girl who was so beautiful, so enchanting, yet so devastatingly dangerous. The seatmate killer had landed her next victim. So, this is the infamous seatmate killer, Takatsuki Yui. According to Keitaru, anyway. Naruto was already noticing her effect on him, a kind of pleasant absent-mindedness. He told her she was like a clerk at a beauty salon, always looking to make others happy. She giggled, a soft, bell-like sound. "What's that supposed to mean?" she said, but her eyes sparkled with pleasure. Naruto thought of Keitaru's warnings and had to admit, being so close to the seatmate killer, it wasn't just alarming. It was also kind of nice. It didn't take long for Takatsuki Yui to break the silence. "Hey, Naruto, what are you reading?" she asked, leaning in with a bright smile. His curt response, "Book," did nothing to deter her. Soon, their conversation revolved around the Berlin Wall, a symbolic barrier that lay between them. "It feels like the Berlin Wall is standing between us," Naruto thought, reflecting on the distance he felt from the girl so close, yet so far. But even as he said the end of conversation, Takatsuki Yui's presence was undeniable, like a sudden gust of wind as she declared, "There are still 2 walls left." A playful dismissal of his despair, his retort, a frustrated cry of, "Who are you calling a titan?" showed he was already falling into her rhythm, playing into the role of her captive seatmate. Their strange connection continued. Takatsuki Yui would suddenly appear, recommending a book, claiming it was a surprisingly touching love story. Naruto didn't trust her recommendation, especially when the title made it sound like the surprise was alcoholism. He thought she was ninja-like, always appearing with unexpected, potentially dangerous suggestions. He felt a silent resistance to her odd tastes, a refusal to fall for her traps, even if her recommendations were interesting. The title made him pause, a hint of unease creeping into his thoughts. What was this surprisingly touching love story she was so keen on him reading? The back and forth started all over again. Takatsuki Yui, ever the insistent recommender, simply gave her book and said, "Well, please just read it." Naruto, still put off by the title and her weird way of speaking, shot back, "Could you not give weird voiceovers?" The exchange was a comical back and forth, almost like a parody of a dramatic moment. Then, almost as an aside, Naruto tried to change the subject. "By the way, alright, what kind of book are you reading?" he asked, holding up his own book. But Takatsuki Yui, seeing the complex title, could barely speak. Zara Tucra. She gasped, the word a mouthful. "That's hella hard to pronounce." The exchange concluded, leaving them a little closer, a little more familiar with each other's peculiar ways, the seeds of their strange, compelling. "Hee. Naruto, you're pretty interesting, aren't you?" Takatsuki Yui said, a genuine smile lighting up her face. Naruto was caught in the moment, the charm of her smile reaching him like the warmth of a bonfire, making his chest burn. So this is the rumor meant, he thought, finally understanding the captivating, almost dangerous nature of the girl sitting next to him. But their connection was already being tested. Suddenly, he realized he'd forgotten his homework, the teacher arriving right at that moment. The spell of her charm was broken, replaced by the immediate panic of his forgetfulness. It turned out Takatsuki Yui was as useful as she was charming. "Let me copy your notebook," she said when Naruto was caught without his homework. He was stunned by her generosity, even as he dismissed her book recommendations as camouflage for her otherwise useless smarts. He needed this idiot more than he wanted to admit. His face flushed with embarrassment as he began to copy her neat notes, his defiance melting away in the face of his own ineptitude. The seatmate killer wasn't just crushing confessions, she was also helping him pass class, a strange twist of fate for the girl of his dread. During lunch break, Naruto found himself following Takatsuki Yui, almost against his will. That's strange, he thought, a sense of disbelief washing over him. She turned, a soft smile on her face. "I was just thinking that I've been following you around," he said, an awkward but honest confession. She laughed a little. "I let you copy my notebook, you know? At least treat me to some juice." He agreed, the simple bribe somehow underscoring the strange power she held over him. He couldn't help but follow her, and she accepted his reluctant companionship with a smile. The seatmate killer was not just breaking hearts, she was also getting juice out of it. "What? Still not close enough?" she said, her hand gently touching his. Naruto was caught in the moment, a blush creeping onto his face. Takatsuki Yui had this way of constantly blurring the lines between playful teasing and something more. "Naruto is usually cool, but he can be cute as well," she said, her eyes gleaming with amusement. The irony wasn't lost on Naruto. He, who was afraid of falling into her trap, was already being described as cute. Then, the unexpected happened. Naruto himself felt the familiar unease of being close to her, his heart pounding in his chest. Wait, is it possible that Naruto is a bit nervous? He wondered, his own feelings now becoming the subject of his surprise. He was not only just the boy following her, he was also the one now captivated by the enchanting, yet slightly dangerous Takatsuki Yui. After the classroom drama, Naruto headed to the vending machine, still followed by the anxious Kitaro pleading not to be abandoned. Naruto decided to keep it simple, opting for tea. Suddenly, Takatsuki appeared, asking what he wanted. He named the midnight tea, and to his surprise, she clapped, calling it a good choice. Takatsuki beamed, making a victory sign, noting that it was the first time Naruto had agreed with her. Naruto, looking away, confirmed her thought, finding her unusual happiness over such a small thing strangely endearing. The supposed seatmate killer seemed unexpectedly pleased by their simple consensus. At the vending machine, Takatsuki recommended Dr. Pepper, and Naruto decided to give it a try. Taking a sip, he declared, "As expected, Dr. Pepper makes me feel alive." Takatsuki seemed pleased by this reaction, even though she herself was drinking tea. Suddenly, Naruto offered his can, asking, "Do you want to try?" Takatsuki was stunned, her face flushing. He was surprised that she wasn't drinking the same thing, a small detail that unexpectedly made her flustered. It was another moment of their strange, evolving dynamic. Still near the vending machine, Takatsuki recommended a can of Dr. Pepper, suggesting he'd be surprised once he tried it. Naruto simply went with it, taking a can. As she watched him drink, Takatsuki's face flushed, and she touched her cheek, her heart pounding. The simple gesture revealed a hidden vulnerability, a surprising reaction to their brief interaction. It was a silent, fleeting moment of connection, hinting at deeper feelings beneath the surface. The moment of connection was shattered by Takatsuki's sudden squeal. "It's not like you're changing clothes," Naruto retorted, a bead of sweat trickling down his temple. She insisted it was hard to drink with him, staring, and Naruto, with a sigh, finally agreed. "Fine. Make sure you aren't looking at me." As she drank, Naruto thought, "What kind of sounds is she making?" Covering his face honestly. He then realized the soda didn't decrease at all, a detail that baffled him as Takatsuki stood there with a small smile. The strange situation continued to baffle him, this back and forth of teasing and unexpected sincerity with the seatmate killer. Back on the way home, Kitaru, ever the dramatic commentator, approached the seemingly unfazed Naruto. "How's the seatmate killer?" he asked, a hint of trepidation in his voice. Naruto, with a nonchalant reply about things not being anything special, remained unmoved. Kitaru, emphasizing the sinful nature of Takatsuki, who bewitched all the boys, seemed amused by the perceived predicament. He warned Naruto that his heart was being played with, framing it as a common comradeship in suffering. But Naruto, a hint of doubt perhaps creeping in, questioned whether Takatsuki was doing this on purpose, and the suggestion itself sounded somewhat fun to Kitaru. The game, as Kitaru called it, was certainly progressing. Walking home, Naruto felt a strange feeling, a sense of being noticed and thought about that he hadn't experienced before. "It's Takatsuki, isn't it?" he thought. Just as the thought lingered, Takatsuki appeared, asking if he was going home. He confirmed this, and she casually suggested going home together. The simple request, the easy acceptance of his company, was surprising. He felt this awakened sixth sense of being noticed, something that hadn't happened before, and the seatmate killer seemed pleasantly surprised by this unexpected agreement to walk together. The strange journey with the girl, surrounded by whispers, was continuing, one unassuming step at a time. As they walked, Takatsuki, recalling their classroom exchange, commented that their conversation was pretty funny. Naruto, ever the stoic, simply stated it was as expected. She insisted that if it was funny, he should laugh, pointing out his reactionless machine-like demeanor, which he admitted made him uneasy. Their conversation highlighted the stark contrast in their personalities, his calm, almost detached nature against Takatsuki's expressive. As they walked, Takatsuki, ever direct, told Naruto to show her his laugh. He bristled, explaining it wasn't the right moment, and stated he was a light-hearted person who could laugh sometimes. Takatsuki seemed surprised, and this surprise flustered Naruto too. He couldn't help but wonder why she was reacting this way, a crack in his dismissive demeanor as the subtle interactions continued to challenge his assumptions. He was beginning to understand the strange sway this seatmate killer held, even if he himself wasn't fully aware of it yet. Their conversation shifted. Takatsuki confided that she often read detective stories, enjoying the challenge of figuring out what the criminal was thinking. Naruto was surprised. It's rare for Naruto to start talking about himself, he thought. He found this unexpected insight into Takatsuki's interests quite interesting. Should I try guessing what's on Takatsuki's mind right now? He wondered. Takatsuki, noticing his thoughts, simply replied, "Go ahead." It was a silent challenge, a new game forming between them as they walked home, each trying to decipher the other's intentions. The line between Naruto's dismissiveness and Takatsuki's seemingly innocent interactions seemed to blur a little more. During their walk, Naruto finally voiced his suspicion. Looking at her, he stated, "You were playing a game where you try to make your seatmate fall in love with you. Am I wrong?" The question was pointed, the weight of his skepticism hanging in the air. Takatsuki didn't deny it, her expression suggesting there was truth to his accusation. It was a pivotal moment, laying bare the complex dynamic between Naruto, the skeptic, and Takatsuki, the purported game player. The truth, or at least what Naruto believed to be the truth, had been laid out in the open, changing the nature of their interactions. Where the game would go next was uncertain. "If I had said that, what would you do?" Takatsuki asked, her expression serene. Naruto felt a jolt. "Bullseye," she said, a hint of triumph in her eyes. "But I was correct, right?" He stammered, "Why would you think I'd do something like that?" "If you perceive me that way," she said, "it'd be a problem." Then, she tilted her head, a playful smile playing on her lips. "A devil?" she said. "It would be interesting if I were like that." Naruto couldn't shake her. "Then why are you still following me around?" he asked, his confusion palpable. The scene shifted back inside. "You have the aura of, I like to be alone. You're not like the other boys who always stick together, she said in a soft, almost insightful way. Then she leaned in, her eyes gleaming with a mysterious intensity. I am interested, she stated simply. About Naruto, that is. Naruto thought, oh, so it's that kind of thing. He accused her. What you're saying and what you're thinking are switched. She didn't deny it, only said, if Naruto feels lonely, then I don't really know how to explain this. Shall I play that game? Naruto retorted. Then you can say that again. He was still trying to make sense of her confusing nature. Naruto pondered, you seem to have a lot of misunderstandings, but I am happy. Takatsuki asked, lonely? Naruto explained, happiness doesn't mean to aspire for the top, but it's to appreciate the present. I have food to eat every day, enough sleep, and have no illness. That's enough for me. Takatsuki said, Naruto, you're being very philosophical. He replied, it's what my mom taught me. She asked, oh, what's your mom like? Naruto said quietly, my mom died 3 years ago. Naruto's confession hung in the air, heavy with the weight of his past. Takatsuki seemed taken aback, her playful demeanor momentarily replaced by a somber expression. Naruto, seeing her reaction, quickly apologized. Sorry, he muttered. Just then, nearby, another girl, Mina, broke into tears. Mom, she cried, her voice small and pained. Naruto turned, seeing Mina crouched down, sobbing. He reached out a hand towards her. Mina, it's going to be fine, he said, his voice soft and unexpectedly comforting. The focus in that moment shifted from the mysteries of the seatmate killer to the very real, immediate pain of a classmate. But it wasn't just Mina who was affected. As Naruto reached out to comfort Mina, gently patting her head, Takatsuki seemed to react in a surprising way. Her face flushed, her eyes widening. She seemed almost in a daze, a strange haze coming over her. Naruto, still focused on comforting Mina, didn't notice Takatsuki's unusual reaction. Don't cry, he said to Mina. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Unbeknownst to him, the act of kindness seemed to have a completely unintended effect on the one he was allegedly trying to avoid. Suddenly, Takatsuki interjected with a dramatic cry. Fuwa. She stood between Naruto and Mina, her arms raised as if to protect the crying girl. I'm against sexual harassment, she declared. Naruto was taken aback. I'm against violence, he retorted. Takatsuki's dazed state continued as they walked home. Naruto, still relieved that Mina had calmed down, said, but good thing you're feeling better now. Takatsuki, with a faint flush on her cheeks, just stared at him for a moment. Then, with a start, she realized they had reached her stop. This is my stop, so I'll see you tomorrow, she said in a slightly rushed voice. Naruto called after her, wait, I was just surprised, okay? Your face is red. Are you okay? Takatsuki just stammered a reply and turned away to hurry down the street. Naruto, still not fully understanding, muttered to himself, look, this isn't a harem anime. Don't pat a girl's head so easily. Otherwise, it would be a problem for society. He was still trying to make sense of everything that had happened, unaware of the true impact of his actions. As Naruto walked home, Takatsuki stopped just behind him, a determined look on her face. Damn you, Naruto, she muttered to herself. Then, a fierce spark kindled in her eyes. I'll make you sorry, just you watch, just you watch. It was clear that this encounter had unexpectedly ignited a new game in the so-called seatmate killer, a determination to break Naruto's indifference. The real game, it seemed, was only just beginning.